Hello, today we are doing some interviews for the African American Historical and Cultural Museum of the San Joaquin Valley. And I wanted to give you a little tour of our setup for these interviews. They're not exactly interviews, more so they're kind of statements that are going to play at this award ceremony. So we're recording them before they go up and receive their award. We are in CMAC's Express studio today because the main TV studio is already booked. So we've set up in here. Now, we're not using the usual Express studio setup. Normally, we've got this table with a Canon M50 and some lights built in just for quick setups. But we went ahead and set up a more elaborate setup for this. We've got an Aperture 300X on a 4-foot Laufus softbox. I really like the Aperture 150 light dome. It's very big, but the 300X isn't quite enough power. You really need a 600X to kind of end up with the same amount of light as this setup. And the Laufus 4-foot box is kind of the great middle ground. The 3-foot or 36-inch original light dome from Aperture is also very good, but I want something just a little bit bigger. So that's our key light. We've got the Canon C70 on this Glide Gear teleprompter. The teleprompter has the iPad. I'm charging up the iPad right now in between interviews here. That way the questions for the interview are right on the screen and our interviewees can look directly at the camera. The only thing from the Express Studio we are using are these Godox tube lights. We have them hanging from the drop ceiling and can change their color with the included remote. We mostly use Aperture lights, but the Godox lights were nice for these spaces, this space in our podcast studio, because we can just have this remote, and I usually leave it Velcroed to the table here. Oh, someone put the Apple TV remote there, but usually this remote is Velcroed to the table, ready to go. For audio, for scratch audio on the C70, I've got my old Behringer condenser mic. I use the other one, it came in a stereo pair. I use the other one on my C70, and then when in a setup like this mic comes in handy. I just use it here at CMAC when I need it. And for talent audio, we are using the Rode Wireless Pro lavs, and I'm mostly just using the mic on the pack and then using the magnet to hide it in the interviewee's clothes. Almost everybody's worn a blazer, so it's been very nice. I put the mic on the inside of the blazer and then there it goes. I use the magnet on the inside of the flap of the blazer. I don't know if I can do it on my hoodie here. So I'd have the mic here underneath everything, so just the fuzzy's poking out, and then the blazer flap is there, so I'll put the magnet here and then hide it like that. Can you see that? Am I too close? I don't know. I'm not looking at the screen. But yeah, this has been our setup for these interviews. You do see a little bit of the fuzzy there, but I don't mind it, because if it was a cabled lav and I clipped it on their blazer, we'd see the lav, the end of the lav. So if I just see a little bit of the fuzzy on the mic, I feel like that's kind of the equivalent. Some people are like, oh, but you don't need to use the fuzzy indoors. I think the fuzzy still helps with plosives and stuff, so I use the fuzzy on the Rode mics and the DJI mics all the time. So I keep the Rode mic primarily plugged into the 3.5 mil jack on the C70. I got that here, but I also have a timecode cable. Since the C70, I can plug in a BNC timecode cable. So I've been jam syncing the C70's timecode from the Rode. So on the receiver, every hour or so, if I push both of these buttons, I'll switch it from split mode to timecode mode, and then jam it, and then go back to split mode for plugging back into the audio cable. So I don't leave it plugged into timecode all the time, because I do want to record scratch if for whatever reason the internal wave file has an issue. I've still got it in the camera, but I am mostly pulling the 32-bit float wave files from the Rode Wireless Pro. And then we've got some Audio Technica. Are these the 40s or the 50s? These are the M40X headphones. Yeah, got those for monitoring audio. But this is our setup for these interviews here in the CMAC Express Studio. So if you want to do some interviews where the subject is looking directly at the camera, teleprompter, super handy for that. If we did have like an interviewer asking questions, I would probably still use the teleprompter, but then I would connect the iPad to Zoom or Skype or FaceTime and have the interviewer on the other end. Even if they're just here and I wanted them to look at the camera, I would do a remote interview. What is that called? The Interrotron, do an Interrotron style interview where the interviewer looks directly at the camera. Anyway, that's it. If you have questions about this setup or other things, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Peace.
And cool, got the chart.
Who would you like to thank for supporting you through your endeavors? My mother, father, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, significant others, daughters, nieces, nephews, cousins, friends, teachers, of course my pastors, priests, pretty females who broke my heart, my chain of command in the army, and all of my haters.